But we can start this hour. We can do that with our national anthem.
Burgess, friends, neighbors, and associates.
Blackberry smoke. I got this song, Bubba. I may not have much else, but I got that.
You got that. That's about it.
Well, look.
Somebody's trying to get it.
I'm sorry. You'll have to forgive me being a little bit elated, and I may have gotten bad news. You know, yesterday, it's almost like what we do the show. And here's what life is now doing what we do. We do the show, which is riddled with content that may or may not be true. Then we get off the air and we research content that may or may not be true. And so everything you see, you don't know whether it's real. You don't know if it's true. You don't know if it has any kind of validity. You don't know if somebody just put it out there. The sources, some reliable, some not. Some you thought were reliable, but they're not. Some you didn't think were reliable, but they got it right. And so that's what you kind of go throughout the day. So if my elation is unfounded, and I'm looking again at another story, is I had a listener last night try to make my evening by telling me Max Kellerman is out on First Take on ESPN. That Stephen A. Smith renegotiated a good deal and said, I don't want to work with this guy anymore. He's out.
Well, I agree with Stephen.
You know, I don't.
And if I don't, and I
don't understand he's out. I don't know if that was the case or not, but I'm sure we'll hear a lot about it.
Well, here's what the guy sent me last night that was.
If they'll take a break trying to decide who the greatest basketball player of all time was between Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
Well, now Max Kellerman can go and hate himself for being white somewhere else.
Yeah. Right.
But anyway, so according to the insiders, that Stephen A. Smith was like, I'm not digging my Max thing. And so Stephen A. Smith, and this is what is all negotiation about, Bubba?
Leverage. You got to have position.
Well, people seem to love Stephen A. Smith. Love or hate him, he's a ratings producer and a revenue producer. And when you're in that position, you get to say a lot of things.
Yes.
And so he cut a 5-year deal for $60 million.
It's not bad.
That's pretty good.
12 a year.
$1 million a month.
And has gotten to guest host on the Jimmy Kimmel Show because Disney and AB, all this together. And so and he's getting to do his own show. He's doing
Stephen A's World on ESPN Plus.
I think he does a good job.
Yeah, and they're saying that
they do too.
They say his long-term goal is to be the late night host.
Yeah,
really.
Mm-hmm.
And he's working his way down that, and he wants to do more than sports. But undoubtedly, like the rest of us, Max Kellerman got on his nerves. So he asked that Kellerman be out. Now, that doesn't mean Kellerman's not going to have a job. He just don't have a job with Stephen.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be more on the radio side of things, I guess, or maybe somewhere else.
Don't you know everybody at ESPN's going, oh, no, don't put him with me.
Yeah. But I just found myself happy for Stephen A. Smith last night. I didn't know what else to say.
Yeah, he's free at last.
Yeah, he's making more jack, and he don't have to go to work with somebody to bill.
Yeah, I tell all these media people all getting big raises.
Yep.
All right, it looks like Kellerman is now going to go to ESPN Radio Mornings with
Good.
Let's see,
Clipped his
Keyshawn
wings.
Johnson and Jay Williams, it looks like. He'll also receive a daily TV show, which will likely be at 2 p.m. on ESPN.
Well, good
and
so
so
Max
it
is
looks
going to be
like-
all right.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I don't have to look in here while we're on and watch him go through some more insincere, monologues during First Take.
Yeah.
I'm with Stephen A. Smith. I'm done with Max. And
So that's your breaking news.
yeah, that's what I got kind of excited about. I thought, well, there's some good news. We all looking for good news.
Yeah, we are.
We'll take any we can get.
Bring it on.
We're not proud.
Bring it on.
More confused on Afghanistan and the pandemic than I've ever been.
Yeah.
All yesterday did was just produce more. I think I can pull away some general things. More Rick and Bubba coming up right after this.
Rick and Bubba.
We're continuing to work. We think that everything should start coming back up pretty quickly. It looks like sooner than later we should have the internet back.
We need to find Helms.
Yeah, well, God love him. What about when you come to work?
Wandered off
in the building.
He's wandered off.
But what
somewhere.
about when you come to the office and your area, your department is upside down?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
That is the.
I don't know where he went though. Where did he go?
That was. I don't know. Yeah, he's trying to get something going.
He normally runs and gets coffee now. Maybe.
He's wandered off
going
somewhere.
crazy.
We're back up. We need you to swap everything back.
Yeah, and speaking of departments, Speedy and I yesterday had an uncomfortable. Speedy went to the mailbox and he came in and like a very important envelope was like laying in the mailbox open.
Yeah, I saw that.
And we were like, and he goes, "Look, I'm not gonna hand this to you. Look in there and see if you see checks."
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I saw that there was one still in there, so I hope the seal just popped.
Yeah.
While it was laying in the mailbox in the heat, but. That's uncomfortable when you look somebody's been rummaging through the mail.
Well, I mean, let's face it. What things are happening right now, pretty much in anybody's lives that give, aside from your spiritual walk, that's giving you a whole lot of contentment.
Yeah,
that seems like it's normal. Nothing.
Nothing. I tell you what is become our normal is everything is abnormal.
Yeah. The normal is how weird can it get?
Right. So
sadly.
Yeah. So we'll see. I was. I don't know about you, but yesterday all the different emails after the show yesterday, we're trying to do our part, since this is what we do for a living. We certainly want to cut up and have some fun and give you a break from everything, but at the same time, we want to be informative. And, we're just trying to gather information on, especially the pandemic, on these different trends and these different things and the things that upset you and the things that you're confused about and, antibodies and vaccines and infusions and ivermectin, and it just and really I left yesterday thinking, well, it's pretty much like it was. I mean, I think I was able to is it extrapolate? What's it called?
I can't say it now.
Extrapolate.
Yeah, you said it.
Yeah,
Did I? Extrapolate.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Extrapolate.
Pull out a few items and lay them down. I literally looked at it yesterday like I was. When you open up a new pack of bacon and you take a piece off and you lay it out there and you get another piece. It's like I was laying little things side by side, going, "That looks somewhat trustworthy."
Yeah.
And
well, as Fauci says, it was very anecdotal. But it's problematic.
Well,
when
I mean,
it's anecdotal.
we had a guy because
unless I say it and double back.
Yeah, well, like you'll see it. Of course, once you can access your email again, but. A guy overnight sent us a deal out of the UK is saying, all right, we've kind of walked through the variant ahead of you, and here's some things we found, and it just makes you even more confused.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm cheating with a hotspot, so I can,
So. Well, they're the UK saying that according to their death rate, the vaccinated people on the variant, that actually as many of them died as the ones who weren't.
You know what? Let me tell you what
it certainly serves some purpose. And, of course, now they're not factoring in again, and I did get a lot. Matter of fact, I got another one this morning. They're not factoring in that some of the people that got it but didn't do poorly probably had the natural antibodies.
Right.
From what I've gathered, having the natural antibodies and having the vaccine is very similar, meaning if you get it, it still seems to keep you from getting it. It's not going to keep you from getting it, but it doesn't seem to – you seem to have some resistance to it, just like you would have – with the vaccine, but their findings are the vaccine was helpful, but apparently so are the antibodies because the people struggling with it across the board with the vaccine or without, it still seemed to be affecting the same group of people that seem to struggle.
Yeah.
It's I was already having this discussion today. The politics in this is on both sides. Okay. Yeah. And you have to remember, too, that Russia and China are full of disinformation. I mean, they're trying to get us as confused as they can.
Right.
So, this latest thing that I've heard that the vaccine actually causes the variants.
Well, no, that.
And I have to go back, and I was sharing this in an email that, I have to go back to my science class in high school. Viruses vary. They mutate. That's what they do. They really have no ability to stay the same. By their very nature, they're going to mutate. I don't think the vaccine is causing that to expedite. Now, again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a researcher, and you can pull up 2,500 articles that disagree with what I'm saying. But it would be the same thing to say that the flu shot is causing the flu variants to kick up.
Right.
And that's not, we don't see that either. Right. So I'm going to kind of put that one, I'm not buying that one over in the stack. And I may be totally wrong, but just for right now, I'm going to have to put that one in the stack. And I think if you have antibodies from the shot or you have natural antibodies, either one, it will protect you, but it's not a guarantee from getting sick.
Right.
and both of them are going to decrease over time to some point. And you're better just not to be exposed to it if you can help it.
The way I heard it put
good luck with that.
yesterday is that
and a mask is not going to prevent it.
yeah, by having what you just said, it protects. In most cases, it protects your lungs.
Right.
Which is all that matters.
Doesn't mean that you won't have like a cold or whatever, but it protects the lungs,
Well, that's-
which is the
And
biggie.
as we were talking about, your immune system is the key, and it's a moving target.
Yeah.
Day to day, hour to hour almost. And you never know when you're going to get a virus dose and your immune system's going to be low and you're going to get sick. You probably have fought it off 12 times previously and didn't even know it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's a bit of a numbers game, and you need to do what you can to keep your immune system up, and you need to try not to expose. Now, some of these things, I think some of these other meds like ivermectin and some of this stuff, it's not a cure, but it can help you far as not getting a viral load that's out of control. And the other thing, and I haven't heard a lot of talk about this lately, I think they're treating your body's response to it so that you don't get that cyclic storm, and that's what was actually killing people.
No, it goes back
It's
to
when
what
your lungs
that's
create so much mucus
Yeah.
fighting the virus that it drowns you, basically.
And doctors I've heard on both sides says the vaccine, even though we're not talking about catching it, because we know that it's not 100% on that, but that the vaccine and your natural antibodies protect those major organs, and in this case, your lungs.
If you haven't had it, you do need to get vaccinated. You got a better chance.
We'll be back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
You mentioned this story yesterday, and I just looked up on the tube, and I saw the update that the guy, the baby picture from Nirvana, is suing Nirvana.
Yes, yes,
But because he says it was child porn.
yes, that is correct.
Yeah, because it showed a dollar bill in the same picture than him as a infant or baby naked.
How does
This was from the album cover. Nevermind. It had a baby swimming in the pool, and it was chasing a dollar bill that was on a fishing hook.
Yeah.
If you remember that album cover.
Yeah.
And so his parents, they were paid at the time for it.
Like $200 or something.
Yeah, it was something, and he has enjoyed his status as this person. He's recreated the album cover. He even has a tattoo about it, I understand, but now has come back and is suing the group or their company, if you will, saying that he needs some money for that now.
Well, he's suing $150,000 to each of the defendants, and he named about 8 different folks that he's going after. $150,000 each.
This is a guy who obviously is not working and wants a check. He's not going to get it. Babies are not considered pornography when they are videoed or photographed, even naked. They're just babies. And the courts have ruled on that several times. I think he is shooting a half-court shot, hoping somebody will write him a check.
Yeah, because I think there's every kid I've ever had, including myself. There's always that picture of you, as a little baby naked that everybody thinks is just precious.
Yeah.
And did anybody ever look at this when he was a baby and think, oh wow? I mean, never. No. It's
yeah, Rick. When was that done? What year was that?
91, I think.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, come on. So.
Just now you've discovered that it's offensive, and you need relief.
Right.
So his attorney, and to Bubba's point, that normally if an infant is, if you take a picture of them, all this kind of stuff, Bubba just went over that, but it's a digitally imposed dollar bill on a fish hook, and his attorney is saying that because of that, it's the baby appears as like a sex worker.
That's just outlandish. I mean, I don't even. How does anybody even give out the time of day?
And what?
Of all the problems we got out there,
if that's in my courtroom, that one goes out about the speed it came in.
Are these students going to be out there?
You know why? Because it's going to take about 3 days to get the military out that's on the ground. I'll tell you what's going to be a difficult deal is that last plane at least.
Oh.
Because you ain't got anybody covering you on the ground. So we're going to have some serious air defense in
last
place.
one out.
Well,
I'm just telling you.
I know.
The school kids are from a district around San Diego. It's a 28 school district, and they're from various schools. The guy who is head of the district's Family and Children Engagement Program, which works with the district's many refugee families and provides interpreters, was one of the first ones to get word that the students were stranded or trapped or whatever Psaki would like for us to use.
Yeah, can she assign us the word that we need if we can't use stranded?
Not really. Not really.
I want to go back to this again. Are these Afghanis who return to their homeland for summer vacation? Are they Afghani students as far as talking about their origin?
You know, in the story, it just says the students were in Afghanistan on summer vacation with their
I've
families.
never said
I would
that.
think that's the case.
I've just never heard anybody say that. I heard somebody say Dubai.
It either was that or they were friends of the interpreters that were there, and they went home and invited them to come see their homeland or something to that effect.
All right, Thomas is going to...
Now, they had tickets to get out, but were not able to get to the airport.
Yeah, it's hard to get there right now. Okay. Thomas, why are kids on summer vacation in Afghanistan?
They're not on summer vacation.
That's what it says.
That's what it says in the story.
For the summer, and I think there's a San Diego article about it. They're just going to see their families for the last time because they knew that Afghanistan would probably collapse. So, but President Biden had promised a lot more time that it wasn't going to collapse, but it did, so they're kind of stranded. But it's not a field trip. They're going to see their grandma or cousins for the last time before they're back in the United States, and there's no more communication.
So that answers my question. These are people from Afghanistan that are going back home during summer vacation.
Right, and they're just all connected to that one school. It's not a field trip or anything. It's just they've kind of rounded up, why aren't our kids back at school yet? And they start to figure it out. And so now they're contacting their state. And,
the LA Times story says they're not from the same school, but the same school district.
Same school district.
I'm sorry. Thanks, Bubba. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say this. I mean, you got to admit, if your kids come home with a letter to say, can you give your kid permission to go to the pumpkin patch, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But permission to go to Afghanistan on a field trip, that's a different deal.
Yeah.
That's not it. This is you want to see Aunt Sally one more time before, that country collapses. And they were promised it wouldn't collapse, but it did. I mean, it wasn't. I thought it was a lot more foreseeable than that as a vet, as National Guardsman.
Yeah.
Very, very frustrating.
Yeah, stability in Afghanistan, they just never seem to be in the same sentence, especially when a new administration takes over and says we're pulling everybody out of there.
Yeah.
There you go.
A spokesman said the students and the families were planning on being home for school, which began August 17th, but have not been able to get on the scheduled flights because they've been delayed and whatever. So they said the district is trying to help them get proper documentation for the students to expedite their return home. And Psaki was asked about that and kind of got surprised by it when the reporter asked her about it. She was like, what are you talking about? And then the standard, give me their information so we can help.
Text me about it.
Hopefully that will happen. But Adler does have a 30-second clip where Peter Ducey asks her if we now negotiate with terrorists.
All right, here we go.
As these negotiations about safe passage for Americans and SIV holders continue, why haven't we heard the president say the United States does not negotiate with terrorists? Is that still the U.S. policy?
Well, of course it is, Peter, but I would also say that there's a reality that the Taliban is currently controlling large swaths of Afghanistan. That is a reality on the ground. And right now our focus and our priority is getting American citizens evacuated and our Afghan partners evacuated. And I would say, given the numbers that we've outlined and briefed for you, that we've made a great deal of progress in doing exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see this, and I saw the first, we had it, it was either on yesterday's show or the day before. This is going to be deemed a huge success, just so y'all know. I want to prepare you for that shock.
Well, I think the military, the job they're doing will be a huge success, not the idiots who said this was what we needed to do.
We've already had one politician come out and says, well, President Biden's doing a masterful job.
Well,
he didn't say masterful, but he said a good job.
Yeah, and everybody looked at him like he'd been smoking.
Well, just prepare for the Biden administration to declare this as a job well done. Just prepare. I just don't want y'all to be caught.
Oh yeah,
when it
well
happens.
they were already telling you what a great job, what a great decision it was. Why wouldn't they tell you it was a great job?
Right. And somehow they're going to convince us the way that they pulled the military out first was still the right thing to do, and it worked out great.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're going to do that.
Right,
but
they're going to try.
I promise you they'll try.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And a lot of people are predicting that the way that she responded to that question shows what is coming. We're going to have a lot of people trapped in Afghanistan that we want to get back, and we're going to have to pay the Taliban money.
Hostages, yeah.
Taxpayers are going, U.S. taxpayers are going to fund the Taliban. That's what's going to happen because of the way Joe Biden pulled out of Afghanistan.
Well, we've already weaponized them.
Right.
And now we're going to send more money. And don't forget, we're also paying people to sit on the couch and not work when jobs are aplenty. So the taxpayer getting we're getting tight. Taxpayer got a little burden on him right now.
Kind of getting hit.
Taxpayer got a little bit of a burden.
They already, because they're rushing them out and they're trying to do background checks. A member of Taliban was on the list and captured in France that landed. 2 in Great Britain.
Oh yeah, well you know that they're going to infiltrate this. I mean, that's the best way to get out of a hostage situation is walk out with a hostage.
Absolutely. Top of the hour.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Phone calls are coming in. Lines are available. Let's go. Now you, the most powerful, most influential, best-looking listening audience in the world, have now been handed the show, and you are now programming it, talking about whatever you want to talk about. Make a comment, ask a question, bring information to the table. Lines are available, and you can take one of those right now. Go ahead. They're on the table. Take one. Let's hear from you.
Don't call us.
We think the YouTube is back, so YouTube viewers, welcome back to the Broadcast Plaza and Teleport. Still trying to solidify the internet, but still struggling with that a little bit. So we're working on it. Let's go to JC in the great state of Alabama. There's room for any of you if you want to get in right now. And if you make a move, you will get in. JC, welcome to Rick and Bubba. How are you today? JC. RJ. CJ.
Juliet Charlie.
Alabama. You're out. Charlie in Anniston. Charlie, welcome to Rick and Bubba. Go ahead.
Hey, well, good morning, guys. I was listening to you commiserating about the heat of the meat from your wife's cooking.
Yep.
There was a time years ago I was with a bunch of buddies in Vegas and went to one of those huge buffets that was kind of divided by countries.
Yes.
And I became acutely confused and got Japan and Mexico mixed up. And what I thought was guacamole was wasabi.
Oh, yeah,
Took a
yeah.
big bite of that.
You know what? That's
Big bite of
funny.
that on my Dorito chip.
That's
I'll
funny.
tell you,
It's the
but
same
the
color, isn't it? It looks just like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It looks the
Yeah.
same. But long story short, the lady who was coming around filling the drinks, I mean, I was dying, literally. And she brought me a glass of milk, and I think that
Yeah,
I've heard that.
That does help. It
I
does help.
accidentally got a big bite of wasabi one time. I usually don't use it because it's really hot.
It is hot.
And I accidentally dropped something and it went over it. And when I scooped it up, it was in it and I didn't know it. And I thought I was going to cry. I mean, I remember asking the lady, will this kill me if I've never had it before? And she says, no, but you're going to be unhappy for a little while.
Look, those are very close.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And boy, hey, just a little bit of that on the left will go a long way.
Scooter, go ahead. Welcome to Rick and Bubba.
Yes, sir. Today in the Middle East is Thursday, so it's known, I don't know if you've ever heard this before, as Man Love Thursday. Do you know what that means?
I have a.
But should I?
All the men go around hugged up on one another, and when it gets dark, well, what goes on when the sun goes down?
Okay, buddy.
What's the purpose for that call? Good night.
Where are you talking about?
I don't know what he was talking about, Rick.
Oh my gosh. We continue. Brandy out of Jemison, Alabama. Brandy, welcome to Rick and Bubba. 30 seconds and go.
Good morning. First of all, I live in Jemison, so I understand your internet situation.
Yes.
We're on timeshare internet down there. It works 2 weeks, and then somebody else gets it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I tried to get internet in Jemison, and I literally gave up on it. I just completely gave up.
Yeah, you just
Let me
gave
tell
the
you,
stuff back.
You got one hope, and that's SpaceX.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's CenturyLink, and it's god awful. But the Raymond Burr situation, he was Perry Mason, black and white. then went to Ironside, then came back as Perry Mason in color and did 2D movies.
Okay. So
Yeah, I
people
think
think
that's
he came
correct.
back as Ironside, but he came back as Perry Mason. There you go. We didn't get Ironside out of the wheelchair.
Yeah,
We went back to Perry Mason.
Right, I think that's
Remember
right.
Ironside at the beginning? When he would tell the little story to set it up, it'd show him get shot and everything.
Yeah, we talked
Yeah,
about
we
that.
showed the
we showed
opening
it,
a minute
Yeah,
ago.
you were in there on the phones. Yeah, we
in
showed
the
it.
middle of hell.
It was rough in there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Especially during tech problems. This is what we do when we were falling apart, and all we do is dance on TikTok. You realize America? It's hard to take Americans serious if they're struggling when they got plenty of time to dance on TikTok.
Oh, I know.
Let's go to Charlie on the south side. Charlie,
Well, leaving Afghanistan is a personal decision, according to the White House, but getting a vaccine is not.
oh my gosh, that's great.
Now, look, if you want to stay, you just stay.
Charlie, south side, go ahead.
Yeah,
How you doing, Rick and Bubba?
we're great.
Question. On sandwich, do you think, now you were talking about what kind of sauce would be in it, would be in the Sloppy Joe sauce. Do you think there's a hint of mustard in there?
I think probably, yeah. I mean, it's just a hint, but I have to agree with you. And of course, I haven't always eaten the manwich one. I've tried some others, but yeah, I think you're right. I think there is a hint.
I basically just put barbecue sauce on
I do
hamburger
too.
meat, maybe threw an onion in there.
We did that over at the trailer all the time.
Yeah, we just ate a big pile of it.
Yeah.
That's all we had.
There's two things when we no longer lived in our trailer. Two things I never ate again: Hormel chili.
Oh boy.
And
The Hormel was a little bean heavy, didn't y'all think?
Yeah.
I mean, it was
My
beans.
goodness.
There was,
Me and chili out of a
there was a
can.
little bit of meat around the beans, but
I don't do chili out of a can.
It was more of a bean stew.
we would buy
with a little chili
yeah,
around.
We
it.
had Hormel chili, and then we would buy the cheapest ground beef you could find, and just dump barbecue sauce in it, and put it on toast.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And we would make a grocery run and eat everything we bought the first day.
My dad.
Remember that? Come home, eat it all.
My dad, that was military trained to cook, his SOS, the best one I remember, and it had different versions of it. You know, depending on what you had left over, was more of a gravy, kind of a gray gravy type thing, kind of runny a little bit.
Yeah, Mom made that had like chipped beef in it.
Yeah.
Ham.
Yeah.
Put it on toast.
Anything. You
Delish.
just look when you needed to
It's like
clean
a
out
white
the
gravy.
refrigerator. Yeah, you put everything you had in there.
man.
You could have bologna in it. Who knew?
Oh, bologna's
By
good
the way,
now.
I thought we were choosing all these great meals. I didn't know that's all we could afford.
Yeah, I didn't know we were just barely getting by.
When I would walk in and see that a pot full of that, I was fired. I'd eat till I was sick.
Me too.
Toast my bread.
Belinda in Florida. Belinda, go ahead.
Can I have some more toast?
Yes, this is in reference to yesterday's discussion about mascot names.
Yeah.
And I am sick and tired of having people with nothing better to do to tell me how insensitive we're being.
Yeah.
I do think we should change some of the mascot names, and I have 3 suggestions.
Okay.
The rednecks, the crackers, and the hillbillies. After all, to us, that's a badge of honor.
Yeah, it wouldn't
There
bother.
you go.
Yeah, I've been called worse. We
I'd
continue.
like to see them at the game, how they'd look.
Let's go to Monroe in the great state of Washington. Monroe, welcome to Rick and Bubba. Go ahead, 30 seconds.
Hey, I was just wondering, so it's getting fall, which is crazy. Summer just passed by pretty quick, but I was wondering what y'all's favorite dessert was. Mine's usually baklava.
No, I don't really like baklava. I mean, I like
What is it?
I like it okay.
Baklava.
You get
What's
it at
that?
Greek restaurants.
You
You've
don't
had it
know
before.
baklava?
They
Brad?
brought it up here before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tore into it.
Yeah, probably on a dessert. I like a good pie usually of some kind. Bubba likes it simple. Just
This guy was just trying to.
2 scoops of vanilla ice cream with a
Rick.
little chocolate syrup.
This guy I don't like. He was trying to be sharp and mention something nobody's eat.
I've always found baklava.
I've had the
Have you
baklava.
not had baklava?
I ain't never even heard of baklava.
Let me tell you what. Get ready because they've heard you now. You're going to be up to your armpits. In
I've never
baklava.
heard of baklava a day in my life.
It's good.
What's in it?
It's good.
It's about a 6.
Oh, okay. Not worth it.
It's not that good. It's not that great.
It's no goat drop cookie.
You know what? If some of them showed up, it wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Greg, it's an okay dessert, but in a very tough conference.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Team Rick and Bubba, we've had some technical difficulties today. Still working through some of those. Hopefully, all of you, however you get the show, that's kind of smoothing itself out a little bit. I hope so. As we start the brand new hour, welcome back. There's Bill Bubba Bussey.
Rick, glad to be here, and thank all of you for tuning in to the little party we call Rick and Bubba.
Still following up on there has been an explosion of some kind, according to the Pentagon, outside the Kabul airport. The casualties are unclear at this time, but we are seeing some pictures of people. Looks like, unfortunately, they may have been injured. So there was concern about that today, and apparently it was warranted. So we'll see as more information continues to come in. Looking at our little country here, AOC has already weighed in, and she says that President Biden needs to resettle a minimum of 200,000 Afghans in the United States. Now, I don't know how she supposes we do that, and where
Rick,
they go.
From someone who thinks everything ought to be free, why not?
Right.
What would you expect?
Right.
I know she's quick to say that, but criticize the Taliban.
Yeah, she doesn't. Does she criticize the Taliban?
No, she does not. I mean, she'll say that about letting Afghans in, and they're going to all kind of military bases all over the country, and I think Texas is taking in around 30,000 of them.
Yeah.
And so that's happening right now. But that goes back to the squad being very quiet about the Taliban's treatment of women. I hadn't heard her outspoken about that.
Yeah, you haven't heard that a whole lot, and also we are saying that some of our border control agencies in some states are letting us know that some of these wide open borders they are grabbing people that are trying to slip in that want to be that have terrorist issues. So it's just a mess. Also, China continuing to try to make us look bad too. If you remember, for some reason, Vice President Harris went to Vietnam in the middle of all this, and she said she was going there to tell the Vietnamese that we would donate some vaccines to them for COVID. I think 1 million. Her flight was delayed because somebody in her staff got Havana syndrome.
Yeah, the Havana syndrome.
Yeah, and it was someone on the flight. I don't think it was with their staff.
It wasn't them, okay.
But it delayed the flight like 3 hours before they cleared her to continue on.
So while she was being delayed, the Chinese came in to the Vietnamese people and gave them 2 million COVID-19 vaccines.
Yeah.
Now, does China have the? What are
they got their own, don't
they? Got their own, yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, that's what Peru's using, isn't it?
They're really courting Peru right now. They're trying to get
Now, was this vaccine made in Wuhan?
Yeah. Or you may say the people that made the virus probably knows more about getting a cure for it, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Well, maybe so. So
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. It's crazy though. All this is crazy.
It is, and still getting information there. Also, on I didn't know about this, but did you see that Lester Holt is going to, for the first time, this person is going public, is going to interview the Capitol Police, the cop who shot and killed Ashley Babbitt.
Yes,
on January 6th.
He's going to let everybody know his name, which has been kept private so far. He has been found not guilty of any violations in her death and has been cleared of all doings with that. So he is going to come public now.
Well,
and try to, he says, clear the record to what actually happened.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It looks like he says, look, I'm willing to come out here and I want to tell you my perspective on how this went down and how it ended poorly. And so we'll get that and we'll find out who this person is with this interview that is coming up. So... But that'll be interesting, an interesting interview to hear that perspective.
And on our previous topic about exactly how Kanye's new name will be pronounced.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm getting emails that say it should be Ye, and also getting emails that he gave the example of ye because it's the most used word in the Bible.
I saw that too, but I don't even know. You know what? Well, at some point, Kanye will tell us how to say it.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
So I don't know. He could call it whatever he likes.
Yeah, I mean, if it's your name, you can pronounce it however you want to.
Right, and
really doesn't matter.
Right, and so we'll.
At least it's got letters in it. It's not like Prince.
I will say, symbols, if there's ever a human being on the planet, okay, that just because you see two letters together, okay, don't assume anything.
No, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it literally could be pronounced any.
That's a good point.
I mean, It might not even be any of the ones we've even named.
You're right.
It might be something more bizarre than that.
It might be WA.
Yeah, I mean, you have no idea, and the why someone like this can garner so much of our attention and money is beyond me. I don't understand it. I don't even really think that. I think he's creative, and I think that he's smart, but I actually don't even think he's a very good rapper. I mean, when you actually hear
nothing I've ever seen. He brings people in and puts them on there.
Yeah, sure. And look, the stuff he did, that album he put out with the hymns and all that, man, it was really, really good. And those were some very, very talented people. And really, the best part of it is when he wasn't talking, or rapping, or trying to sing. And
well, Rick? Are you trying to say he's no Furious 5 or Sugar Hill Gang? Is what I'm hearing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But as far as his creativity and ability to arrange and put these things together, he's obviously quite smart and quite brilliant. But I have
to give him high marks on marketing here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But well, now his marketing is through the roof. But really, honestly, I may disagree with that slightly, because I think his ability to manipulate us like this says more about us than him.
It's kind of a good point.
Well, at least he knows how to take
Doesn't
advantage
take a
of
lot.
it.
Because if you said to me, "Hey, Rick, what's the plan?" Is it really creative and brilliant for me to say, well, my plan is to go live in one of the rooms at an arena, and then I'm going to offer $20 to $50 tickets for people to watch me walk around with earbuds in? You would probably think, well, that's not very creative. As a matter of fact, Rick, that's stupid. But the fact that it worked, does that mean that's brilliant, or are people just stupid?
That's a good point.
So you see the
well,
difference?
maybe you're brilliant recognizing how stupid they are.
Well, there you go.
So.
And there you go.
Reports still very sketchy about the explosion in Afghanistan at the airport. They are reporting now three U.S. military people have been hurt.
And they said it is a suicide attack. That is confirmed.
At the Abbey Gate.
Abbey Gate, whatever.
I guess that's where we were clearing people in, which was exactly what the intelligence briefings told us were going to happen overnight. Right. So they were dead on this, it looks like.
Yeah, unfortunately, literally.
Yeah.
We'll be back 15 minutes past. 866 We Be Big is our number. We will chat with you.
So what will the president do now?
Isn't that kind of asking Ronald McDonald what he's going to do about the hamburgers? Probably not the one that's going to make the call. We'll be back. Well, your phone calls are next.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
/Bubba. Visit rickandbubba.com under the sponsors. That's a great question. 35 minutes past the hour, the Rick and Bubba Show. 866 We Be Big. We'll get you updated here quickly on what seems to be a fluid story now coming out of the Kabul airport in Afghanistan. Kabul, however you say it. It can be, I've heard it said both ways. CandidCO.com/Bubba. If you are looking for a solution right now to your smile, and you're not wanting to go old school and go to the old way of getting braces, what about some clear, practically invisible, comfortable, and removable aligners? Yes, but you still want the expertise. And that's why you need to be sure you're doing this with CandidCO.com/Bubba, CandidCO.com/Bubba, because when dealing with them, you're going to be using an orthodontist the entire time. Same orthodontist from the beginning to the end, about 6 months to get it complete, but you'll see results way before then. Some of the competitors are just using general dentists, and that's important because you want an expert. You want the person that is an expert in tooth movement that is going to be straightening your teeth, not someone that doesn't have that expertise. So be sure that you go to CandidCO.com/Bubba. We'll give you $75 off the starter kit. We'll also get you a free whitening. That's at no charge. So use the code Bubba when you go to CandidCO.com/Bubba, code Bubba. There's also a link at rickandbubba.com under the sponsors button. So we have had a second explosion. There are people hurt. We do have 3 Marines, they say now, injured in the attack. We've seen footage of people being taken out of cars, bleeding, going into hospitals. They say this is happening at the gate where we were concerned it would happen, and also another gate that's connected to a hotel or something.
Yeah, it appears that 2 explosions, as you said, it happened right as the sun was going down around dusk. It is now dark in Afghanistan, which even makes it more confusing. There's also reports of a gunfight outside the Abbey Gate also.
Reports, dailymail.com, say they are confirming the 3 U.S. troops were injured, 13 dead, including children, in the blast at the hotel. That's where the Westerners were held up before the evacuation flights were a go. And they're saying at least 1,000 Americans in Afghanistan are still not able to be evacuated.
So these are 1,000 Americans. We don't know. This is the hotel. We see it here. And this is where they were housing some of the people that were trying to get home, including Americans.
Kind of a staging area.
Yeah. So it's chaotic, as you can imagine, and we'll continue to get information for you as it comes in.
Yeah, it's very confusing. It's going to be scattered, and I'm sure there'll be some misinformation as the rush to get all this information out. But so far, 3 Marines injured, 2 explosions, and a gunfight is what we understand.
Right, and there is a report that there's 13 dead, but again, that number could change.
Yeah, that's according to Daily Mail.
To the phones we go, 866 We Be Big.
And those aren't U.S. troops. Those are just 13 dead, including children. Let me make sure we distinguish the two.
Yeah, and what we do know on the military side is 3 Marines are injured.
Right.
We are getting that report.
Right.
But as far as the other 13, we assume that's all civilians.
Yeah.
We assume.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to, if you have comments, you can come in too at 866 We Be Big. Let's go to Greg in Alex City. Greg, welcome to the Rick and Bubba Show. How are you?
I'm good. Green Acres, guys.
Thank you so much for the call. So what's on your mind?
Yep. Y'all were talking about the celebrity worship and everything. I'm kind of guilty of that, too. I listen to 2 fat men on the radio every day, and, I mean, they sell stuff, their merchandise. They've got spatulas, and all they done was call it a spatula, and they spin a wheel of meat that you can win flowers on. I mean, who does that, But like I said, if anything was to happen to them, I'd probably lose my mind. So, yeah, celebrity worship, it's definitely a thing.
Well, let's watch the word worship there. But how about being entertained is something I think is...
Yeah, that's a better word.
Yeah. Look, you've seen this throughout our history, is even in the Depression, people were willing to find money to be entertained because people like to escape from it. But I think where it gets weird is when people get into the stuff that, like, they lose even the, if for instance, look at Rick and Bubba the restaurant. Well, obviously there was no celebrity worship there. I mean, it was everybody heard about it, everybody gave it a shot, but people didn't continue to go there just because it had had Rick and Bubba on it. It was just. I don't think Rick. Bubba
I wish they had.
Yeah, I think we'd have a hard time selling tickets for anybody to come hear us. Put in our podcast archives and listen to earbuds while we walked around the Birmingham Civic Center.
That'd almost be like paying music to watch. I mean, paying money to watch us eat lunch.
Right.
Yeah.
And plus, the spatula is actually a really good. Spatula.
It is.
If it wasn't any good, then people wouldn't continue to buy it.
That's right.
Let's go to Justin in Columbus, Mississippi, 96.1. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
We're good.
All right. I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on the Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J manufacturing the vaccine, not requiring their employees to take the vaccine.
Is that true? I didn't know if that was true or not. They're not requiring their own employees to take the vaccine they manufacture?
That's the rumor that I've heard, and I just wanted to kind of kick this out there to y'all and see what y'all can find out, what y'all thought about it.
I have not heard that.
I saw an interview with the CEO of Pfizer, and he said that if they don't get the vaccine, they have to be tested twice a week. But I think he said about 90% of their employees are vaccinated.
Right.
From the interview that I saw.
Yeah, and again, go back to this again. I understand what you're saying, but At the same time, it may not be that they're concerned about adverse reaction to the vaccine. They may be concerned about trying to violate people's freedoms. And it may be nothing more than that they're saying, hey, it's we're not going to require you to take a vaccine of any kind because we don't think that's our role. But of their own free will, it seems like most of them are taking it anyway. But they are requiring, Speedy City saw that you do have to be tested more and all of that. I think the only thing, it looks like they're just not doing the mandate. And there's a lot of companies that aren't doing the mandate that are still encouraging and trying to tell their employees they wish they would take it, and they are going to make life a little more of a hassle for you if you don't, but they're not making you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The problem we're having with the making people take it is inside the medical field, which I think might, I would read something into that too if I work in the medical field and I don't want to be made to take it, or I'm not sure that I need to, especially if I have natural antibodies, which are the emails I'm getting from nurses. Hey, we've had it. We have the antibodies. We're just as safe here working with patients as if we had the vaccine, if not more so in some cases, and that's debatable. But it's the mandate that's the pushback, and what we're doing with these mandates is we're now having a shortage of first responders and nurses when we don't need that, and they can make that decision for themselves. And as they said, if we've already had it, there's no need scientifically to mandate us to take the vaccine. So we want to come to work, but we don't want to be made to take a vaccine. And I think it's foolish to make them because we're going to end up not having them.
Yeah.
And that's worse than them refusing to take it, to me. We continue. Which one?
4.
You want? Let's go to Mike in Gardendale. Mike, welcome to Rick and Bubba. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. How's everybody doing?
We're great. We're great.
I appreciate you taking my call. Yeah. So I'm a 12-year vet, almost 12-year veteran. I served a couple of tours in Afghanistan, and I really enjoyed my time there. Learned a lot and everything, and it changed me as a man. And I really found my faith there. And what I'm seeing overseas right now is like, it's kind of it's not only disappointing, but it's just it's heartbreaking. The only thing is that I can like equate it to would be like getting broke up by your girlfriend, or something like that. Like it's just like a gut punch, and there's nothing you can do about it, kind of thing. And you're watching all of this unfold, and you're watching it all unfold in places that you've been. And I served on Bagram for a year, but I traveled around, on a Black Hawk, doing different things to different bases, Herat, Kandahar, and all those places that you've probably heard of on the news. And then my last tour, that was in 2010, and in 2016 I went back and ended up at H-Kaya, and that's where the airport, that's where all of this is unfolding, is at the airport. And I have pictures of me at the embassy and things like that, and watching the embassy fall. It's just heartbreaking. And I just wanted to say my piece that what's happening with this administration on just not getting our people out. I just can't believe I'm seeing this, in modern history. It's just, it doesn't even make sense to me. So,
yeah,
I mean, that's just
Mike. Yeah, thank you for your service to begin with. And while we have you, how did the locals say? Did they say Kabul or Kabul? The city.
It's either Kabul or Kabul. I mean, us Southern boys, we say Kabul, because it's got that Southern twang to it.
So, but how did they say it?
I believe that they say Kabul.
Kabul. Kabul.
Yeah, Kabul.
All right. Well, thank you for your service to the country. I can't imagine what it feels like to have worked so hard to stabilize a very, very dangerous place, to be there because it's important to keep an eye on Afghanistan and to have a presence and to get an intel on what they're doing, and then for us just to pack up and leave and then it fall apart has to be difficult. We certainly understand.
Rick and Bubba.
This intrigues us. We haven't been able to use the video stuff much today because we started out with no ability to do YouTube. But we have a video here that says a deer plummets off a 50-foot waterfall and survives.
Yes, and people are watching and they're horrified. Rick.
Why are they horrified? All right.
In Lewis County, Michigan, people on the viewing platform spotted a deer running down the Tequamanon River. Just ahead, the Tequamanon Falls and a 50-foot drop.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
Despite putting on the brakes, the deer was still swept over. And for several moments, onlookers feared the worst.
Whoops. Deer, they gotta say oops.
But a minute later, surprise! The deer had survived and was swimming downstream.
He might have done that before. He might have done it before. There, guys. That might be the way he gets to where he's going.
Yeah.
Wow, how about that?
He was running down through there pretty hard, and he saw those falls. He tried to put the brakes on, but it was too late.
It's got a story to tell if that's the first time.
Let me tell you something. And look at him getting all the way over to the side. You have to admit, when you running down through this.
Is that a doe? What is that?
Yeah. And then right here he's going, wait a minute. And he's trying to tiptoe and loses his foot.
And it's gone. That's slick right there. And everybody's like, whoa, where you go? Whoa. It probably made it to the side, got out, walked into a road, and got hit.
Made it through all that.
Sure. I mean, we know that as well as anything. I had two pictures yesterday. Somebody saying, well, here's too late in the road. Got hit.
I don't know how a deer would talk, but I could tell he could go back and at least tell everybody, don't do this.
Yeah. Right.
When you see this, stop.
Watch that last step if you're coming down that waterway.
Well, you know what? And do we know whether it gets up on the side and it's not like broken legs or whatever?
It did, and then somebody shot it.
Right. All right, so we see it. We see it there.
I think it finally got out. See, it's standing on all fours.
Looks like it's kind of limping a little bit.
Well, didn't have his leg under him for sure.
I bet that was
dazed and confused there.
Right.
Sat down over. I was like, wow.
You know what that is? Hey, look, he got out. Coyote set up going, well, look at it limp. Well, I'm just telling you.
Can we enjoy a happy story here?
Well,
let's paint it like
well, you know, and there we go.
It just bounced off.
Wait a minute. There we go again. So it's not a happy story for the Coyotes?
Right.
So we don't care about their perspective?
Right. Okay.
So you're picking and choosing what's
well,
happy?
No, I'm just saying let's give it maybe 30 minutes to enjoy life.
But if you were like, say, you loved coyotes, you'd be like, well, man, good for them. A deer fell off the waterfall, injured itself in the water, and got over to the shore and was easy takings. Right? It'd be a great story for coyotes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's all relative out there in the wild kingdom.
It's like we were sitting out here starving and lunch walked right up.
Right, yeah. And the waterfall helped us catch it.
Yep.
What would be wrong with that?
Nothing.
I mean,
you got people liking coyotes.
How about nobody celebrated that one, did they? For the Coyotes, it was a fantastic day. What about their little cubs? Nobody cares about them?
Pups.
Little pups down there needing a little deer to eat. Now they got it. I guess nobody cares about them. Of course, you go put them in like a cage somewhere and everybody thinks they're wonderful. Top of the hour.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba. Rick and Bubba.